Welcome back to our program. I'm your host, Wu Ruiguo. In this final segment, we will continue our conversation with Ms. Kathy Liu and also Freda Lum. Kathy, I'm going to start off with you. I understand that you're also involved in a number of extracurricular activities when you were in South Africa, one of which is the so-called Chinese Women Association. And can you share with us that experience? I mean, at the time you were going to college and just starting your career with a restaurant. I mean, how did you find participation in the Women's Association help you?
Well, it was actually the first year that the Women's Association had such young people in the committee.
Exactly, I would.
So we had a lot of people looking at us like, can they really do this?
Yes.
But I think a lot of people think in their minds that South Africa or Africa is that I've got elephants and lions in my backyard, which I do, by the way, sculptures of them. Yeah, we actually, the Taiwanese community was quite large at one stage. A lot have moved back recently, but there was quite large. So they all have, they have the structure of a very first world country. We had the Commerce Society, we had the Golf Society, and the Women's Society was sort of like helping these other societies. They used to do like the female job, you know. But it was, I think part of this was very good because during this time I learned a lot about like Taiwanese culture and how Taiwanese people also, they stick together during times of trouble, and the Funi Hui, or the Chinese Women's Association, we did a lot of activities, and we also did some things that were quite new to the association because we were younger, and I think we brought a lot of fresh blood into the whole thing. I think what was quite nice about that was because recently a lot of mainland Taiwan, mainland China people went to South Africa, so they've integrated these associations to include mainland China people as well.
That's very good. Yes. How about you, Freda? You mentioned about you involving a sports program, basketball team when you were going to high school in Canada.
Yeah, that was some time ago.
But other than sports, were you involved in any extracurricular activities while you were in Vancouver?
Oh yeah, the New Asia Festival.
Good.
We were the host, and then we just started that in year 2008, and then like this, it's been pretty popular in Vancouver now. So I think we'll see how far we can go. Good. Because it's a new program. Because they already have Vancouver Film Festival. So
And we talked earlier about both of you looking at returning to Taiwan more on a permanent basis as an option. One of the options for you in your development of your careers. Then if that's a very viable option in the future, and coming back to Taiwan, working, and maybe also in the future starting a family, would there be things or recommendations or word of advice that you can tell others who may be in the same shoes, or maybe a few years away, they're still in college or high school, but thinking of eventually, coming back to Taiwan if they have a Taiwanese connection, through family or friends, whatever, what would be your word of advice or encouragement, or cautionary notes that you want to give them before they make the decision of coming back to Taiwan? Why don't we start with you, Kathy?
Okay. Well, I'm really glad I did come back. It took a while to get used to, but I think once I'm in this environment, I think you develop a lot faster in this area. I mean, I don't think I would trade my childhood or my experience growing up in South Africa for anything. It was one of the few experiences I think I was really lucky to have. But now that I'm here in Taiwan, I think all the kids out there at the moment, even if you've just finished college, I think it's good to come back for a couple of years, even if you don't want to settle here. I think it's to get in touch with your roots again and to find again your culture and your values, because Taiwan still is your home. It's your base. So I think it's good.
Yeah, Freda?
Yeah, I really encourage like all the people, like all the Taiwanese overseas, they come back. They can come back for their career, and then they can live in Taiwan and bring their power back to Taiwan to help Taiwan to go out to other countries to be like internationally recognized.
Of course.
Yeah, because what I found some of the young people like in Taiwan right now, they are really lack of the
international exposure.
Yeah,
yes.
And sometimes they don't feel they have the responsibility to their countries.
Yeah.
That's really it's a bit like the word, yeah.
Yes.
So whenever I talk to them, they'll just whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, they only mind their own business.
Yeah,
and
it's weird.
Yeah, I want to ask the two of you then. What's the most valuable aspects of your maturation process? You're growing up in a foreign country, but also you're retaining connection, roots with Taiwan. What would be the most valuable aspects that you can remember growing up in South Africa, Canada, but that help you later on in the start of your career? Kathy? Was it independence? You're obviously very independent.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, because I think kids who grow up who go to a foreign country actually,
Yes.
or Western country, they encourage a lot of independence and thinking for yourself and making your own decisions through these kind of principles. And I think that's really helpful for me growing up, and I think a lot of kids in Taiwan sometimes might be lacking that
a little too attached with their family.
Yeah,
yes.
well, not even just attached, because I think it's good to be attached to your family, but I think free thinking.
Oh, okay. Free thinking. Yes.
Yeah, I think they in South Africa, or in the school I went to, they encouraged you to have the right facts, but make your own decisions regarding those facts. Okay. And I think that's really, yes. And also because my parents put me in boarding school, so for 5 years essentially I lived in a school, with the whole system.
Freda?
Well, I think I learned a lot to be responsible to myself.
Yes.
And I think, Taiwanese kids need more responsibility to themselves as well. Yeah, don't rely on your parents. I think that's the thing. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure that maybe in the future, when the two of you start your own family, maybe one day you'll be mothers yourselves. Then maybe you will come to a decision in the future that whether you want to send your kids overseas like you did, growing up to another country, whether at the time you were in Taiwan or back in South Africa or in Canada. Would you want your kids, your children, go through the same thing that you did? Would you want them to, repeat that multicultural, education or maturation process as they were growing up?
Definitely. I think it's one of the invaluable experiences. I think Taiwanese really focus on doing the right thing and working and making everything in a very good order, which is not bad, but I think the kids need to also branch out a bit and just feel a little of what they want to do.
Okay.
So I definitely, and I think the multicultural thing also helps them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Freda?
Well, I think the parents should consider what's the best for their children's personality, because sometimes it's not all good to send everyone overseas. Sometimes they stay in their own country is the best for them, like the best education to them. But sometimes I think they can just send their kids like in the summer to experience to live in other countries.
Yes, on the short term.
Yeah, in a short term, like
summer camp,
or as a backpacker.
Okay.
Just
study abroad.
Yeah, just go by themselves. Don't the parents shouldn't always taking care of them. So
you felt the younger generations in Taiwan may be too much pampered.
Yeah.
But
it's too protected.
Yeah, too protected in a sense. Okay. Well, it's been absolutely wonderful to have the two of you on our program. I certainly wish the both of you the very best, in your future successes in your careers, and also do come back to Taiwan, to whether to start off your career and or start a family. I think there are many things that Taiwan could, learn from your experiences, and also not just in relations with our younger generation, but in terms of how the island can continue to grow and develop. And also, Freda, for you, the development of the soft powers, and also with you, international trade. Taiwan is a trade-oriented economy. We have many opportunities of making friends with our trading partners around the world. Thank you both to come to our program today.
Well, thanks for having us.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching our program. I'll see you next time on MacroView Television. Thank you.